Dreaming of exploring the world but don't have a passport yet? Stick around, because we're about to unlock everything you need to know to embark on your global adventures without a hitch. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling a process that honestly can seem like a giant, intimidating, highly bureaucratic obstacle course, applying for your very first U.S. passport as an adult.
But hey, here's the really good news. It is absolutely manageable when you've got the right map. We're going to navigate these strict federal rules together, translating all that dense administrative jargon into a crystal clear, step-by-step journey.
So here's our master blueprint. We'll be covering 1. Your passport application blueprint. 2. Gathering your required documents. 3. Perfecting photos and fees. 4. Booking your in-person appointment. 5. Tracking application status. And 6. Final checklist and FAQs.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, your passport application blueprint.
If you're 16 or older and have never had a passport, or maybe your last one was issued way back, like over 15 years ago, you fall under what the Department of State calls the in-person execution mandate. Basically, you absolutely cannot just mail this in or do it all online. No way. You have to physically show up in front of an authorized passport acceptance agent. It's a strict security framework, right? Built to stop identity fraud. So we're going to prepare your docs, book the appointment, submit it all in person where you actually take a binding legal oath, and then track it online. Skipping a step or doing it out of order? Instant rejection. So let's do this right.
Now, your very first decision, passport book, passport card, or both. The traditional 28-page passport book runs you a $130 application fee plus a $35 execution fee, and that's your golden ticket for all international air, land, and sea travel. The passport card, much cheaper, just a $30 application fee plus that $35 execution fee, and it's super convenient since it's literally the size of a credit card. But, and this is a huge but, it is strictly for land and sea entry into places like Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. You cannot hop on an international flight with just the card. If you want the whole shebang and maximum flexibility, you can actually apply for both formats at the exact same time.
Moving on to Section 2, gathering your required documents.
First up, you have to establish an absolute, unassailable statutory claim to U.S. citizenship. You need to provide an original, legally binding document. For most of us, that's a certified U.S. birth certificate. Now pay super close attention here. It has to be issued by the city, county, or state, and it must have the embossed or multicolored seal of the issuing office. Those cute hospital-issued souvenir certificates with the footprints, they will be rejected. And a huge heads up, digital or mobile birth certificates are strictly forbidden. You've got to have the physical, certified paper copy.
Alongside citizenship, you got to prove your identity. You'll need a valid primary photo ID, like a fully valid in-state driver's license or a U.S. military ID. Again, digital or mobile-based IDs on your phone are strictly rejected. They won't take them. You need to bring the actual physical ID with you to your appointment, and, this is absolutely crucial, you must bring a clear physical photocopy of both the front and the back of that exact ID.
Okay, please note the two massive mistakes applicants make right here. The main form you're going to fill out is called Form DS-11. When you print it and your ID photocopies out, do not print double-sided. The federal intake facilities use these automated scanners, and double-sided pages will literally cause your application to be systematically rejected. Print single-sided on standard white 8.5 by 11-inch paper. And second, do not sign your Form DS-11 at home. Seriously, put the pen down. An authorized federal agent has to physically witness you signing it after you take an oath of truthfulness.
Next up, Section 3, perfecting photos and fees.
Listen, your passport photo isn't just a cute selfie. It's a critical data point for automated facial recognition systems at border checkpoints. The photo must be exactly 2 by 2 inches on a white or off-white background. No glasses are allowed whatsoever, unless you literally have a signed note from a doctor for a recent medical necessity. You need a neutral expression, so no big, exaggerated smiles, no hats or head coverings unless it's for documented religious or medical reasons, and absolutely no digital filters, AI enhancements, or retouching. Seriously, if you alter the natural outline of your face, those federal security sweeps are going to flag it instantly.
I actually want to read this quote directly from the source material. Submitting a non-compliant photo is the primary cause of administrative delays in passport processing. Guys, this is the #1 reason people end up missing their trips. Just follow the photo guidelines to a T.
Okay, let's talk money.
We have this unique dual-tier fee structure where you're actually paying two totally separate entities. The application fee goes straight to the U.S. Department of State. You cannot pay this portion with a credit card or cash. No way. It has to be a personal check, cashier's check, or money order made out to the U.S. Department of State. Now, the execution fee, that $35 we mentioned earlier, goes to the local facility processing you, like your post office. They'll usually take credit cards, cash, or a separate check. Mixing these funds up or bringing the wrong payment type, it's going to instantly halt your application right at the desk.
All right, Section 4, booking your in-person appointment.
So where do you actually go? Well, there are over 7,500 authorized acceptance facilities across the country. The absolute easiest way to book is using the USPS Retail Customer Appointment Scheduler, or RCAS tool, over at tools.usps.com. You can book up to 4 weeks out. Some post offices even have self-service kiosks, if that's more your speed. Also, keep your eyes peeled for special regional passport acceptance fairs. The Postal Service loves hosting these on weekends, like a fair they recently announced down in Florida, where walk-ins are welcome and absolutely no appointment is necessary. Just a quick note, official regional passport agencies are totally different. Those are strictly reserved for people traveling internationally within 14 days or dealing with life or death emergencies.
Here is another super helpful insider tip for you. The scheduling system requires a dedicated 15-minute slot for every single applicant. You can't just book one appointment and bring your whole family up to the counter. If you're a family of 4 applying together, you've got to book a continuous 60-minute block.
Which brings us to Section 5, tracking application status.
The waiting game. About 2 weeks after you submit, you can start tracking your journey online at passportstatus.state.gov. You just punch in your last name, date of birth, and the last 4 of your social security number. You'll watch it move from mail sorting into in process, which basically means they're doing the background checks and identity matching. From there, it jumps to approved and finally mailed, where you actually get a tracking number for your shiny new passport book.
Now, here's a fascinating and honestly sometimes panic-inducing federal security protocol. When your new passport arrives in the mail, your original birth certificate will not be in the envelope. Take a breath, don't panic. This is a highly deliberate strategic security feature. They mail your newly issued passport and your sensitive original supporting documents in completely separate mailings. It's brilliant, really. It ensures that if a mail carrier or package is intercepted, your entire identity profile isn't compromised all at once. Your original docs might arrive via first-class mail up to 4 weeks after your passport.
Finally, Section 6, Final Checklist and FAQs. Let's hit some rapid-fire FAQs. Lost an old passport years ago? You absolutely have to disclose it and submit Form DS-64 to mitigate identity cloning risks. Are you 16 or 17 years old? You actually get an adult passport valid for 10 years, but you're still technically categorized as a dependent minor when it comes to parental awareness, so at least one parent has to physically accompany you, or you need to provide a notarized statement of consent. And this is huge. If the State Department finds a glitch, like a bad photo, they'll send you an additional information needed letter. You have a strict 90-day window to respond. Miss that deadline, and your application is completely abandoned, your fees are forfeited, and you're starting over from scratch. Before you even walk out the door for your appointment, let's run through the ultimate checklist. Got your Form DS-11 filled out in black ink, printed single-sided and completely unsigned? Do you have your original proof of citizenship plus a single-sided photocopy? Your valid primary photo ID and its photocopy? What about your compliant, unfiltered 2x2 photo? And remember, do not staple it to the form yourself. And last but not least, do you have your check or money order made out to the U.S. Department of State along with a totally separate payment method for the local facility? If you can check all those boxes, you are 100% prepared to conquer the passport process without a single hitch. Now, as always with federal guidelines, regulations, and fee structures can and do frequently update. Always make sure to check the official resources at travel.state.gov or consult a legal professional to get the most current and personalized advice for your exact situation. And there you have it, the complete map to navigating the U.S. passport system. So, what do you say? Are you ready to finally unlock those global adventures? If you found this explainer helpful and feel ready to tackle your application, please hit that like button, drop a comment letting us know where you plan to travel first, and subscribe to the channel for more detailed step-by-step guides. Safe travels, and we'll catch you in the next one.